this is not a clickbait video. It's impossible to learn 1,000 words in a day, regardless of the limited number of people. But the tips I'm going to tell you can help you, if not learn thousands, but hundreds of words in a day without forgetting. Before that, why build your vocabulary? The answer is simple. The more vocabulary you know in a language, the more easily and confidently you can express yourself and communicate with the people around the world. Let's jump to today's topic. But before that, if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Without further ado, let's get started. The first one is memorization technique. How to memorize a word. But first, we should know how humans' brain works. Look, we have two types of memory. I mean in terms of acquiring. Short-term memory and long-term memory. How the information is stored in our memory? First, by sensing that information. We all have 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. In order to memorize a word, first we have to sense it, by whichever sense that is related to the word. For example, spicy. We should sense the spicy. We should see to something spicy, or we just taste that word. This is the way that first we sense the word, then it goes to our short-term memory, and by practicing it a couple of times, it will stick to our long-term memory. One more example for this part. For sending the word from short-term memory to long-term memory, the easiest way is to link the word with your emotions. This is amazing because when you encounter with that situation, you will be surprised because the word suddenly pops up into your mind without thinking about that word, because it's already connected to your emotions. You establish the connection between the word and your emotions. For example, the word exhausted. It means to be very tired. Just imagine a day that you came home very tired and explain it right now to your friends that you were exhausted that day and make up some phrases. This is a very powerful technique. Try it once. In a nutshell, don't try to memorize the vocabulary fast. Instead, try to learn that vocabulary and use that vocabulary in your routine. One more thing for this section. We have to pass 5 steps to learn a new word. Finding the word, finding the meaning of that word, writing it, making several sentences and examples for that, and the last one, using it in our daily lives. Next one, using prefixes and suffixes. Try to learn most important prefixes and suffixes of English. By understanding the prefix and suffixes, you will be able to guess the meaning of 1,000 words that you confront with, that you probably don't know. So, prefix is a word or a letter that comes before another word. The most common prefixes in English are re, this, over, un, miss, and out. And the most common suffixes are eyes, in, ate. When we add prefix or suffix into the words, the meaning of that word will change to something else, mostly in negative state. For example, M prefix. When we say it's possible to learn English in 6 months. But if we add M in possible, it will change its form to negative, impossible. M before every word means something is not acting in a good way. Or polite. It means someone behaves politely. If we add M to polite, it becomes negative, impolite, a negative or bad behavior or imbalance. The next prefix is N. N also changed the form of a word into negative, like our previous example, M. For example, inappropriate. This dress is inappropriate for a funeral ceremony. Incorrect. Something is not right. Your answer is incorrect. Or inability, not able to do something, is inability to read. Inaccurate, something is not precise. Your data is inaccurate. The next prefix is re. When you see re prefix in every word, it means to do something again for the second time. For example, revisit. It means to visit somewhere for the second time. Or rebuild, to build somewhere again or recover. It means to regain the possession of something or returning to a normal health or recollect. For example, we need to recollect the information for our project. Next prefix is ex. I heard this prefix a lot in movies. She is my ex, he is my ex. It means he or she was your girl or boyfriend. Ex in words shows the past action, the past event. Now it's time for suffixes. Suffixes becomes at the end of the words. For example, less. He is homeless. It means he has no home to live. Careless, endless, able, achievable, something that you can gain or attain. Next one is chunking. The concept behind chunking, as established by Harvard psychologist George A. Miller, is that the human brain can only retain an average of 7 pieces of information at a time. Chunking is a way to get around that natural limitation of memory. Chunking is a technique that you break down the word, the phrase, or the chapter, whatever, into a small pieces. Chunking is the process of making the information clearer and easier to remember to yourself and to the others. With this technique, information will become easier to understand when it's broken into a small units. The next step is learning the antonym and synonyms. Synonym is the similar or alternative ways to describe something. For example, big. The synonym for big is huge, large, massive, and something else. Try to learn words like this. If you suddenly forget one of them, and if you remember the synonym or the antonym of that word, you won't pause your conversations and you continue your speaking. And this will keep your flows in an ideal state, and your audiences will not reject you because of your pausing. And it's the same for the antonym. Antonym is the opposite of a word with different spelling but opposite meaning. You can learn 2, 3, or 4 words at the same time by searching the antonym and synonym of that word or the word good. The synonyms are well, amazing, and awesome. Look how many words you memorized with this technique. Next one, learn connected words. In terms of connected words, I mean when you memorize a word, for example, honesty, learn the words that are connected to the honesty, like faithfulness, goodness, loyalty, and so on. This is the definition of connected words. This is the easiest way to learn several words at once. It's like making a network inside your mind. For example, while you want to speak, if you forget a word and you did make a network for that word inside your mind, you will easily switch to some other word. But if you didn't make that network and connection, you will stick there and you don't know what to do. Which word should I use? This is how the network plays a role in language acquisition. This is a fun way to learn new words. You feel much confidence while speaking because you know different words. And if you forget one of them, you can easily switch to another because one word has a several meaning. And beside that, one word has a different function in sentences. It can be a noun, it can be an adjective, an adverb, and etc. But sometimes we know the word, but we can't use it in an appropriate way because maybe we learned it as an adjective or just a noun. Don't translate word with word. I mean, don't translate it in your own language. Because in terms of speaking, when you want to use a word in your speech, if you memorize it in your own language, you need to think about the meaning of that word in your language and then translate it in English and then use it. This will make slow your speaking speed. Like the word predict. I don't know what's the meaning of predict in your language, but don't do it. Don't try to memorize it like this. An important thing, don't try to memorize the meaning. Try to understand the definition of that, where you can use it, not just the meaning of that word. Expand your active vocabulary. You already know thousands and thousands of vocabularies, but passively. Find link of this video in the description box. I talked in details about passive and active. Next one is repetition. No one can learn something at once. Everything needs repetition and practice. Repetition and consistency is the synonym, which both means performing something every single day until it becomes your queen of mind. The best time management for consistency is at least 30 minutes a day. If you do more than this amount, it's a good news for yourself, so you can become fluent, expert, and skillful in what you have dedicated your time. With consistency and repetition, you are feeding your brain. Your brain grasps and learns a small amount of information every day. And one day you will see how much knowledge you have in your mind. After consistency, we have habits. When you do something for a specific time, it will turn to habit. Research showed that 40% of the tasks that we do is by habit, not by consistency. By doing something constantly, it will become your habit. And after that, you will do that as a habit. And there is no need to find motivation in order to do that. And that specific time is 21 days. But it doesn't mean after 21 days you leave everything, you think that it changed to your habit and take some breaks. No, it's not like that. You have to take care of that habit. You have to focus on that. But after 21 days, it's more easy to do that. And how to know that thing became your habit? You will notice that performing that task is no longer hard. The first day when you wanted to do that, it was really hard and it needed more of your focus. And sometimes maybe you got demotivated. But after 21 days, there is no such thing to worry about. And you more likely tend to do that easily without getting tired, and you feel happy and enjoy of doing that task. Next one, learn phrases instead of words. It's completely waste of time to memorize individual words with meaning in our native language. It's a traditional way of memorizing. It doesn't work. Maybe you ask yourself, why should I learn phrases instead of words? One single word is tiny versus one line of phrase. The answer is, phrases are easier to remember because it has a deeper meaning and it creates a picture of that word inside your mind. For example, the word frank, it means to speak openly and freely. Like Tom speaks frankly. In this phrase, you remember who is Tom and how he speaks. It makes sense to your mind to remember connected things together. But if you memorize it frank, frank, frank in your native language, you will not be able to use it in phrases. And soon it will wipe from your brain out. And the last one is teaching. We have an idiom that says, use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it, mate.
Those who are following me from the very beginning of my channel, they know why I created a YouTube channel for myself. Honestly, I learned all of my English abilities that I have right now is by teaching English, as you see this video right now. Because before preparing myself to record the video, I do some research about the topic I want to talk. I ask some questions from the experts of that part. I add my knowledge about that. And finally, I set the camera and hit the record button. This is the way I learned English. But I'm not a native speaker. I'm not an advanced level of English. But every day I do my best to enhance my language abilities because of you and because of myself. And I will be very happy if you tell me where I made mistakes in the comment box. But please be kind when you write the comment. So this was for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and you learned something. And if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for my next video notification. And please motivate me with your likes and sharing my videos with your friends. Wish you the best.